Hello, Taurus. This is your reading for the week of April 20th, or when you hear it and it resonates. And of course, it won't be for every Taurus. As I was starting to work with your cards, things started drifting in, and now all of a sudden it makes sense. It's all come together. You have got two choice cards that come up for you in two different packs. One is reminding you that choice is always operating, even if it's unconscious. If we don't make a new choice, we are by habit continuing to reinforce whatever the old choice was. You're being told it might be time for you to be making some new choices. And as I'm saying this to you, I feel as though you are on the verge of turning a corner around some really old patterns that have kept you sometimes from really exploring the things that would delight you and make you feel alive and excited. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I was also given a memory, boom, of when I was going through changing a major pattern. And it was when I was dealing with a boss who was extremely manipulative, emotionally manipulative in terms of trying to get me to work in a situation that would not have been good for me. But he was trying to make me feel guilty, and it was working. And I had a good friend there, and she said, sometimes you just have to make a decision. One is going to be less bad than the other. If one isn't good, then one is at least less bad. But you just have to decide which one you're going to sit and grow with. And in that moment, I realized, I just hung up the phone from him, and she was speaking, and I realized that I was so quick to jump in and say yes, to accommodate, to make things okay, that it was almost impossible for me not to just agree. So the fact that I didn't was a good thing. But I realized in that moment, especially with him, because I was very, very susceptible, that I was going to give myself 24 hours. I was going to say, you know what? Give me 24 hours and I'll get back to you. And that has stood the test of time for me in terms of not jumping in and just repeating the old patterns I would have repeated. Again, it was a choice to go through some discomfort in order to be able to start making new choices that were more in my favor, as opposed to the choices that would accommodate others. What I see here also is that there may have been, for some of you, issues around abandonment when you were young. Now, abandonment here, within this deck, we're talking about it. Abandonment isn't just the experience of being left. It carries with it a much deeper sense of desertion, of being left vulnerable without the support or tools we need in order to survive, either emotionally or physically. Now remember, this doesn't have to be actual abandonment. It can be something we perceive as a child as abandonment because some need is not getting met and somebody was just not aware or a little bit less sensitive to what our particular character needed, right? So what you're being told here, my dears, is you are in the process of being able to make the choices now that will allow you to disengage from people that maybe before you were not willing to stay engaged to or engaged with. And I'm not talking like engagement ring. I'm talking about social engagement. That you may now be learning that you can let go of these people or these situations or these groups, even possibly this job, anything that you have perhaps unwittingly tied yourself to for fear of not having any of those things. When we don't have a strong sense of grounding and security as children, for whatever reason, one of the things that we can do, of course, is it's all about attachment styles. Let's just call them styles. Excuse me, and one of them is that we can really overly attach to people and feel as though our life depended on it. And I remember there were certain points in my life where I felt like if this person were off the face of the earth, I don't know how I would cope. Even if they weren't directly, immediately in my life all the time, there was that sense of security for them. One of the things that's happened as we learn to lean into our core, understand the nature, the sacred nature of all life, the connectedness of all life, and our essential nature being an expression of that divine energy, that's when we find a connection to a solidity within us that is linked to our eternal self. As we focus prayerfully and we allow ourselves to make new choices in a way that allows us to start experiencing life in new ways. Again, with these cards, when you're doing them within the context of a reading, the placement's very important. It's not just the content on the card. So in this one, what I'm really getting is make choices that are going to allow you to start seeing things in a new light. Because the thing about choice, again, you've got 2 choice cards telling you to choose. It's time for you to start choosing the things, the relationships, the people, the activities that express the same energy that you would have if you were on holiday. So what does that look like? You're looking at things with new eyes. You're searching for the things that are delightful, that are enjoyable, that are relaxing. You're looking for those things that are going to support good feeling and new adventures. And this is what I feel is what's happening for you, Taurus. It looks to me as though you have really, really done some major, major work around shifting the anxiety and the stress around whatever abandonment means to you, and however you've expressed that, experienced that, and however you've protected against that. Because one of the other things you can do if you fear abandonment is not attach at all. So then you don't fear the loss. But you're being told experiment. Act as though you're on vacation. Do things differently. Change things up. And that is what I'm getting for you, Taurus. This to me feels, as I say this to you, I feel everything from here lifting. Like all of a sudden now, my energy is moving from my heart out through my senses and into the world around me. And I feel like it's connecting me in a way that is, I don't want to thrilling, exciting, but it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's not just exciting or thrilling. It's what I feel like when I go to my ceramics class and I see the clay coming together and I get this thrill in my belly that I can't explain. It makes no sense, but there is something in me that just comes alive. I didn't know that was going to happen. So explore, my dear Taurus, explore. It is your month coming up, and it's time, Taurus, for you to really start experimenting with your life, remembering the divine. Make your choices in alignment with the things that are going to delight you, and let yourself take a vacation from always being the one that worried, from all the one that needed to take care of. This is for you, Taurus. This is your time. And I'm going to leave you with that. Take care.